What should everyone try once? A different haircut or hairstyle than you usually have. Not trying to be cool and just being themselves. A Japanese-style toilet seat that sprays like a bidet. Wife bought me one and I was mad. Now I hate using regular toilets. I live in Southeast Asia and we have this hose thing that is attached next to every toilet that we use to clean our butt with. Don't worry, it is not so strong that it tears your ass skin off. Living on their own. I was never able to afford living on my own. I lived in house shares where I barely spoke to the other people, which is kind of close, but never fully alone. Now I earn enough to do it, but have bought a house with my partner, so that ship has sailed. I do wish I'd had the chance to try it. Working a job in the service industry. Mainly so you develop some level of empathy and you're less of an asshole to service industry workers. At some point in your life you gotta swallow your goddamn fears and just talk to that one cute girl. The shame from rejection will hurt like a motherfucker and it'll make you want to crawl into a hole to die, but it'll improve your sociability, make you more resilient and you'll have gained more insight into yourself. Tried it once, asked the cute girl out, she politely and respectfully declined. I said no worries and wished her well. Years later when I actually met the girl of my dreams I was not worried about asking her out because I know it wouldn't be that bad if she said no. We have been together for over 3 years and I couldn't be happier. Powerlifting makes you feel badass as fuck. Every physically capable person should hop on a program like Strong Lifts or Starting Strength for at least 3 months to see how strong they can become. I started like a weed after pretty much having anorexia and being underweight and began to appreciate my body so much after lifting. Someone else's advice. Sometimes they are wrong, but if you aren't sure, at least they have an idea. Whether it's a good one remains to be seen. Go on a road trip alone, even just for a weekend. It's incredibly freeing and I personally love traveling on my own schedule and doing exactly what I want when I want. One day without social media. To dress fancy. I absolutely love dressing up all fancy in a suit and tie, it's wonderful. I'm not even very wealthy, in fact, quite the opposite, but I can still go to Goodwill and pick out some drip. Definitely not heroin. Chocolate ice cream with red chilies. It weird, but the spiciness of the chilies goes oddly well with the creamy cold of the ice cream. Whenever possible, to see both sides. Be the customer, then try being the server. Be the audience, then try being the musician. Be the son/daughter, then try being the parent. And always try to improve on what your experience was. My grandfather taught me that until you see both sides, and can effectively argue for both sides, you really don't understand an issue. And if you don't understand the issue, you need to be careful advocating for/against that issue. I really feel the world needs to understand and accept this right now. Dungeons and Dragons. It's a great game to play with your friends, explore your creativity, make a story, and have some beers. Skydiving. If you can afford it. At first, the trepidation builds up as you're going higher and higher in the plane. Then, you're at the edge of the plane, excited to leap, when you think, wait, what the hell am I doing? And then the person you're strapped to jumps without a moment's notice. You feel the wind hitting your face, all pins and needles, and you want it to stop because it stings. Before you decide that you're not enjoying falling towards the ground at a quick rate of speed, the parachute pops open and now, you're floating through the air. Descending to the earth and seeing it below you is surreal. You see fields, houses, cars, and trucks, you see so much life in one glance and enough detail to actually register it, unlike flying in a plane and looking down. It's so serene, it feels like a religious experience. I felt so much peace in that moment, which was especially contrasted with the feeling of adrenaline beforehand. It's an absolutely delicious experience. I can't wait to go skydiving again. Mushrooms. Riding a horse. Skiing or snowboarding. Just straight up approaching that person you've been fearful to talk to. Asterisk breathes deeply. Walks up to a group of bloods. Asterisk gentlemen. I'm here to discuss your vehicle's extended warranty. Try the gray stuff, it's delicious. Fun fact, they actually serve a dessert called the gray stuff at Disney World in Bell's Castle. It really is delicious. Walking an unused rail line. Not one that's been converted to a hiking trail, just an old line that's not used anymore. You see things from a different perspective than walking a road or a trail. Just be careful, because A, not all rail lines that look unused actually are unused, and B, if the railroad still owns the land, you might well be trespassing. LSD/DMT. One doesn't necessarily have to enjoy the trip or wish to do it again, simply the experience itself of what your mind can do under the effects of a psychedelic is one that cannot be described with words, and even if you manage to put it into words, no inexperienced mind's imagination could possibly come close to conceiving it. Sitting next to the railroad tracks and watching a train go by. Once you have done it, you may like trains more than you'd think. An extended period of time without any vices, drugs, alcohol, nicotine, gambling, etc. Clear your mind. Thai, Indian, sushi, pizza, tacos. Just all the spices. All of them. A meal outside the norm. Variety is the spice of life. And don't be afraid to enjoy something and have more of it. Manual labor, menial labor, mental labor. Working alone, working in pairs, working as a team. Following, leading. There's lots of ways to be productive and make a buck. Find what suits you, and what you really hate, and know your limits. A good book, a good movie, a good game. TTRPGs like Dungeons and Dragons. Board games, puzzle games, first-person shooters, Minecraft, VR. Learn to relax. Sewing, knitting, whittling, carpentry, metal forging, blacksmithing, weaving, crafts, 3D printing, electronics and breadboarding, programming, Legos, writing, painting, sculpting, computer graphics, animation. Just any way to make stuff. Creation comes in a lot of different forms and one might click with you. Creative expression is a human need. Lifting weights, running, yoga, static strength training, martial arts, biking, climbing. You gotta stay fit somehow. Drugs, thwarting authority, religion, philosophy, having money, being poor, science museums, strip shows, burlesque, symphonies, stand-up, art shows, theme parks, arcades, clothing optional places, malls, farmers markets. Fucking, sex, making love. Cuddling, hanging, chillin'. Jerking off with something in your ass. Working in retail for a minimum of 2 years. People always say just a day or a week is enough to educate the entitled ignorant masses, but that gets them out of dealing with the hell that are holidays and events like Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Oh no, you don't get the real experience for just that one day or 1 week in the spring when there aren't huge rushed, staff shortages and maniac idiot customers. You have to deal with the entire gambit, not just when it is easy and convenient for you. Weed. Edit. Since people aren't understanding what weed means. It means pot, cannabis, Mary Jane. Weed is just a slang term. SMH woman face palming light skin tone. If you have the means, then I would say to save up, take a vacation somewhere that is significantly overseas from your location, like 10+ HR flight, but have either the way there or back be a business class ticket. Throughout my life I've taken a decent number of short flights around the country, usually once/year for the holidays. Each time I would somewhat dread it because of the shrinking leg/elbow room on coach/economy seating. Well, I had to be overseas for a year for work, but was able to briefly return home at my own expense partway through the year. I wound up being convinced to upgrade my ticket to business class, and it is seriously a completely different experience. The whole setup appeared to be what I had grown up expecting first class to look and be like. I actually thought I had a first class ticket up until I tried to enter the first class lounge at the airport and they corrected me. While I'm sure first class is crazy fancy, business class was the most comfortable 14-hour trip I have ever taken and probably will ever take in my life. Knowing that I won't be able to afford to do that again, more important things to save up for at this point, I'm incredibly happy I was able to experience what that was like at least once. Healthy living for a week or two. Focus on eating better, getting better sleep, and exercising for just a couple weeks. I didn't used to do any of that, but after trying it I can't go back. Be warned though, you may turn into a lame person who enjoys going to bed earlier. I'm convinced most people don't try living that way because they don't realize how much different their life can be. Try it for at least a short period of time, but the longer the time period the more it works. Jail. Hear me out, once you experience jail, the deprivation of your personal freedom, the whole experience changes your perception of our justice system and how fucked up it is. The way it is inhumane treatment of your fellow man based on transgression of law. Especially if it is a low-level misdemeanor. One stay in jail will make you realize how badly the justice system is and how it is designed to make you hate all manner of law enforcement. I got arrested for DUI because I fell asleep at the driver's seat in the parking lot instead of driving home. I wasn't planning on drinking that day but ended up meeting up with a friend who bought me sake bombs. Ended up drunk, so I decided to sleep it off in my car till the next day. Made the mistake of sleeping in the driver's seat pulled down with a blanket I always carry. Woke up to shining bright lights in my face about 3 hours later. Got pulled out of my car and handcuffed. I was arrested for DUI because I had the keys to my car. The cops knew I was inside because windows messed it up. Taken in for processing. This is Phoenix. The jail is horrendous. You literally are like cattle in a processing factory. 90% are DUIs in one form or another. They have crafted the law to maximize DUIs because there is no plea down in Arizona to DUIs. They purposely built the seating area with metal bars in between so that you cannot sleep comfortably sideways. Toilet paper is your headrest. They stick you all murderers and all in the same place. The processing is dehumanizing. If you are going in there for the first time, it can be terrifying. The lack of human empathy is crazy. These people have been trained to fill in the jails. You are nothing. Nobody. As you go further in, the corrections officers are the nicest. They have to be, because if they are nasty they could easily get hurt by inmates. By the time you get to lay our head properly again, it will be after 24 plus hours. The jails are all just segregated by race bullshit. There is no rehabilitation whatsoever. It is just putting prisoners together. At this point is when you realize that everything you have ever believed in, as far as our justice system is concerned, is all bullshit. The place is full of minorities and poor people. You start hating the system and everything it stands for. How rich people never get to see the inside of a jail. It gets worse as you later realize the police officer wrote his own version of events and his camera had a malfunction. And didn't record anything. I get it. You commit the crime, do the time. But it is an inhumane treatment that makes you hate cops. Then the subsequent punishment, almost $4,000 fine, 2 days in jail, 1 year ignition interlock at your own cost, 12 weeks of drug and alcohol classes at $100 a week, 12 hours of Mothers Against Drunk Driving, suspended license, Towing charges cash only plus 1 month storage about $1,500, $5,000 lawyer fees, or stick with a public defender so overwhelmed with caseloads he doesn't even get to see you. For a first misdemeanor offense. All this is the reason I think people need to go to jail once to see what exactly goes on in there. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe if you are interested in more Reddit content. See you in next video.